here's a quick overview of how I rig this laser. Now, every laser is different. You can rig it in any number of ways, heaps and heaps of ways. But here's how I personally rig this boat. You can rig it however you want. But here, just to give you a quick overview, here's how I rig it. So this is probably the, it's a little bit tricky. Probably trickiest part is the what I use for the downhaul. So the green rope is what I use for the downhaul, and I put that on the left side typically. And what I do is I run it through this bottom kind of rolly thing, and then I run it up. And then what I do is I clip this red rope thing with the roly-poly thing at the bottom here. I clip that on to the turbo kit, okay? So I clip it onto the top of the turbo kit here. So there's a little pin in here that comes out. I take the pin out, put this in, and then feed it through the sail so it looks like this, through the sail, and then out past the boom and down to the turbo kit. That clips in there, and then what I do is I run the green downhaul through here, through this little roly-poly thing, up and around this that red thing we just put in, and then I go run it back down. And there's a second thing attached to the turbo kit, so two things attached to the turbo kit. This is the second rolly thing, and then I put it through that second rolly thing, and then up, put it through the top red thing again, which is the red thing, and then I tie that off with a bowline. You can tie it off with a figure of eight or whatever you want, but I typically just tie it off with a bowline, and that kind of stops it. So basically, overview, outhaul, downhaul goes down, up to the red thing, down, up, and then I tie it off here. So I hope that all makes sense. Okay, and then when I de-rig this boat, I take this out first. So I obviously let that loose, and then take the pin out of here, take the red rope here off, and that's that. Now the turbo kit is another interesting thing. So some lasers have turbo kit, some don't. This one does. I put it on. So we have the turbo kit here, and you just kind of want to connect that up to this silver thing on the boom here. Okay, so that's the turbo kit, and yeah, that clips in, and that's all set up. So all you have to do is take this pin out on the side. Let's have a look. You see the pin, that pin there, take that out, and you can put the turbo kit on and off, and that's basically your vang. Just keep the boom down. All right, and that's pretty easy, super simple to set up. Then we have the outhaul, and the outhaul is the red rope on the right hand side here. Okay, so that rope, it's different to this red rope that I talked about before for the downhaul. That's an extra little accessory that I put onto the turbo kit. This red rope is the red and white one. It runs through here, so it comes through the bottom, through here, up, put it through here, and then it runs along the side of the boom. This one I've put it through here, but that's not normally like that. It's normally just on the side, but you can do whatever you want. And it runs through the side down here, and then I've got a little pulley that comes in and out, and so that goes through this little pulley, and then back to this one, and then back through here, and there's a little knot here. So basically, typically when I de-rig it, all I do is untie this. So I've got a little handle here. I got tied on with a bowline. So I untie this bowline, feed it back through, and then feed this whole red rope, pull it out, and then just wrap it around the boom to pack up. Because this is the bit that takes a long time, this section here to here. So I just leave this section in, and then untie it from the handle here, and then feed it back through there, and then wrap it around the boom. Now, that brings me to the next thing. We have the part of the outhaul. We have, what do you call this thing? I don't know. The little cleaty thing that grabs on. What I have is I have these two elastic ropes here. So it's one elastic rope, but it separates into two. And then I crisscross them. I don't even know what the point of the crisscross is. I've always done it. I don't know. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not. I don't know. Anyway, crisscross it over. So I have one elastic thing on either side. And then I put this hook shackle thing through it. So it goes through the sail, but I also put it through the elastic thing. One on this side, one on that side. I feel like it helps to pull it, if I want some outhaul off in light winds, the elastic helps to pull the sail down so I can get some more belly to the sail, if that makes sense. So that's what I think the elastic is there for. That's about it for the outhaul. And then I have the main sheet. So the main sheet's super simple to set up. All you got to do is put the main sheet, which is the yellow rope, I just kind of start here. I put it through this pulley thing, that's on the boom. I run it along. I run it through this blue thing. Sometimes these wear out, you might have to get new ones, but through that blue thing. Whoops. Then I run it through this pulley. I run it down through this one, then back up, and I tie it off with a figure of 8. You can use whatever knot you want there, do whatever you want, but I just tie it off with a figure of 8. That works most of the time. So basically it goes from the bottom up to the top pulley, along through the blue thing, down, side, down, up, and then I tie it off there. And that's basically it. There's also, what else can I tell you about the high rig? I think that's pretty much all the main areas covered. I got the out-haul green rope, down-haul green rope, out-haul red rope. I got the turbo kit talked about. Yeah, typically one thing that I like to do is there's this little blue rope here, and this little shackle sits here, and they run the out-haul through that. Now that can come on and off, so typically I like to keep it off or on the boom, on the mast, so I just remember to leave it on, otherwise sometimes I forget, but I leave that on the mast and I can take that on and off, and before I sail it I'll just put it on, make sure it's above here, that keeps it there, and then when you're setting the out-haul up you just run it through and you can the out-haul out. So that's another little thing, make sure this little blue rope with the pulley is put on before you put the boom on, because it sits above the, I don't know what it's called, gooseneck thing. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I think that's basically it. I'm gonna stop there, but I'll stop it there. If there's anything else, I'll add it to this video, but that is pretty much it. One last thing, I didn't have the centerboard in, but centerboard, just when you put it in, you can stretch the elastic and hook that onto there to make sure it's, I guess, attached to the boat at all times. And then what you do is this tiller and tiller extension, that slides, a carbon fiber one, it slides so you have metal brackets to kind of protect the carbon. But basically that slides into this bracket here, and then we have a rope. Let me come around the other side so you can see. A rope that we put through here, and that ties that in a figure of 8 or whatever stop knot you want. And then if you want to be able to push this down, you can just uncleat that, and then you can push it. Now it is a little bit tight on purpose because we need to make sure it doesn't just pop up, but you can push that down and then all the way down when you're out in the water. And then when you have that all the way down, you don't want it to come up at all, you can just tighten that off like that, and then it won't come up at all. Okay, so once again, uncleat that, and then it allows it to move, and centerboard's there. And I think that is finally everything done. And then also obviously bungs there, but then you also have the auto bailer in here. I'm pretty sure most lasers have the auto bailer anyway, but auto bailer in here, you push it up like that to pull it, to close the auto bailer, and then you open the auto bailer pushing that down, and then that opens up a little flap. I don't know if you can kind of see that flap, that little black flap, and drains the water out. So that's pretty much the boat in its entirety, how to rig it and everything like that. It's a really good boat in good condition, so yes.